And welcome back to Independent Television. I'm Andrea Cinque, and I'm here with the nation's health renaissance man, Jon Barron. Jon, we've been having a very compelling discussion about empowering ourselves as Americans, actually the world around, to take more control of our lives and our health so that we don't have to rely on the government to change the health care laws to make us well.
Right.
So can you just reiterate quickly what your philosophy is in life about this topic?
Well, you actually stated it clearly, so I'll just repeat what you said. That basically the government is not capable of making the changes necessary to fix healthcare. The bottom line is healthcare costs are exploding because we are creating disease in ourselves. The leading causes of death: heart disease, 90% self-inflicted; cancer, as we talked about, 90% self-inflicted; diabetes, 95% self-inflicted. I skipped one, which is actually conservatively the third leading cause of death now is going to your doctor. It's from complications from prescription medicine.
That's right, it's true.
It's true.
How many stories do we hear about people going in for surgeries that are minor and ended up getting, bigger problems because of they misdiagnosed or the interaction with drugs or whatever?
Right. It's actually the third leading cause of death, and you can make a case that it's actually number one. And not to be glib, because let's acknowledge there are certain things that doctors do extremely well. Most of them are very dedicated, often heroic in what they do. And there are times only a doctor will do. I'm always reminded of John Wayne Bobbitt, if you remember John Wayne. He was far better off with a surgeon than an herbalist. I mean, you need to understand.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
Yeah.
Good point made.
Yeah. But what doctors don't understand is they don't understand disease, they don't understand nutrition. Here's something most people are not aware of about doctors. In medical school, they take, at best, 1 semester on nutrition. That's 1 hour a week for 6 to 8 weeks. So they've had 6 to 8 hours of nutrition. If you read 2 good books, you know more than most doctors.
Absolutely.
And yet we hold them up as the authorities in nutrition.
That's a very good point.
Just because they study the body, it's like saying, well, if I have heart disease, I need to go to a plumber because they're really good at unclogging pipes. It doesn't work that way.
That's a very good analogy. I feel that way now. I have become a citizen that takes control of my health. I'm doing reading on the internet, I'm getting books out, I'm watching health shows, and I'm educating myself. And now when I go out to dinner, I look at the healthier choices. I mean, do I still eat my pasta? Absolutely. But I'm going to think twice about the portions of pasta I'm eating because I'm thinking about diabetes, and I'm thinking that to be obese, you just have to be 25 pounds overweight and you're considered obese. And there I am. So the point I'm trying to make is educating myself as a consumer. And if you multiply what I'm doing by billions around the world, then we have no problems with our healthcare system now, do we?
Right. Now, one of the things you have to understand is there are certain things you're fighting against. One of them, I went into a major supermarket, Ralph's, recently, and it takes a lot to basically floor me. But I saw this new thing called the Power Aisle. It's new in stores now. It's the center of the store. It runs right down. It's like double wide. Nothing in there. It's where they put the things that sell the most. And the huge run of this giant store, this giant Power Aisle, and I know it's Power Aisle because they label it, Aisle 8, the Power Aisle, dead center. And on one side, running as far as you can see, the length, and the other side, snack food. Now, the thing I guarantee is the stores aren't force-feeding it to us. They're going where we're buying. If people are buying organic foods, they would line that Power Aisle with organic foods. We're making choices that encourage the stores to feed those choices. The fact that more and more people are buying organic and healthier, you'll find those sections now appearing more and more in supermarkets. The choices we make matter. In legislation, we really can't affect the big legislation very much, but we can on the smaller things, and these are very important. The issues that, and that's a whole show in itself. The legislation designed to take away our choices, and that's worth talking about. But there is legislation. There are people, legislators with an agenda, if you will, constantly looking to take away and limit your choices. One thing, for example, in half the states, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, half the states in the United States, it's still illegal even for a medical doctor to suggest alternative therapies for cancer. They go to jail if they...
It's illegal?
It's illegal.
I'm floored.
Well, no, actually, it shouldn't floor you. I mean, one of the things is that we know, and you can read about health practitioners constantly going to jail. or raids on clinics that are selling things. And some of it's actually designed to protect us, but some of it is absurd.
You mean, are you talking like the pits? I know that there's certain properties in pits that they say ground up.
Apricot pits.
Apricot pits.
That's a different topic in how they test and how the tests are always designed to make alternative remedies fail. If you want to, we
no, all right. You'll be invited on to another show to talk about that topic. But I'm just thinking alternative therapies. I mean, it can't be acupuncture.
No, they're recommending, let's say, using vitamins to treat a cancer.
Oh, I see.
Illegal. That basically you're limited. Doctors in half the states in the country are limited to the prescribed therapies right now, modalities, which are chemo, radiation, and surgery. And the thing is, everybody knows, even the doctors know, these don't address the cause of cancer. You cut out the cancer with surgery, it didn't address what made that come in the first place. You use radiation, you burn it out, didn't address it. Chemo, there isn't a doctor in the world who thinks you get cancer because you're suffering from a chemotherapy deficiency. All these are doing is dealing with the symptoms, which is the way medicine treats things. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Really good on trauma. I actually heard a great definition of medicine. I think you'll get a kick out of this. That medicine is now all about numbers. You go to your doctor, and he conducts a series of very expensive tests, comes up with a list of numbers, a table. And on it it'll tell you like, liver enzymes, whatever. There'll be a range of numbers, high and low, and then your numbers. And if your number falls outside the high or low, it'll be in red, and the doctor will then give you a pill to force that number back in. That's what they do. If they treat this, you have high blood pressure, we're going to give you a pill to make the blood pressure go down. Doesn't address what caused the high blood pressure.
Right,
it's to force the number back into range.
The underlying root of the problem.
Yeah. Now that is again caused, in many cases, in most cases, heart disease 90%, diet and lifestyle choices. So you have a choice. You can take a drug which costs money, and often, and the problem with the drugs is you take them, they have side effects. And I love that in the TV ads. You'll see them, at the end of this ad where you see people in flowing dresses in slow motion running through fields. Side effects may include blood clots.
We all laugh.
We
all laugh. Yeah. I mean, there isn't one thing that they haven't, put in there as a side effect.
And one of my favorites is the one for antidepressant, and they tell you that one of the side effects is an increased risk of suicide.
I know. It's true. I think people are really starting to think, maybe we shouldn't be taking this medication at all.
Can we address the underlying causes? Sometimes you can't. There is a role for medications, but in so many cases, you can address things at a nutritional level. And I wish that the medical community wasn't so biased against it. There was a study in today's paper. I don't know if you saw it on fats.
Excuse me.
Okay.
I just want you to know how well read I am.
I guess we were going to talk about that.
Right.
Okay.
We're talking about low-fat diet, no help.
No help. Okay. They came out with a study, and it's marvelous. Some of the phraseology in it just, this is the Cadillac of studies. The results are definitive, unarguable. So what are the conclusions? Well, some of them are correct. They came to a conclusion that people who understand health have been saying for years, is that fat by itself is not an issue in the diet. In fact, actually saturated fats are not an issue. It's the type of fats that are the problem. The big problems, and they didn't address it, they just talked about whether you lowered your fat or did not. Did it make a difference? Saturated fats, hydrogenated oils. Hydrogenated oils are a key, not saturated fats. Some saturated fats very healthy, like the saturated fats in coconut oil. Lauric acid and medium-chain triglycerides, very healthy. Hydrogenated oils, not healthy at all, but the biggest problem, the one the study doesn't address, which is why it's pretty irrelevant, is the biggest problem in fats today is the imbalance in the ratio between omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3 fatty acids. Now, here's a problem where doctors have made things much worse by telling you not to eat saturated fats, eat vegetable oils. The vegetable oils you buy in the store, most of them are incredibly unhealthy for you.
Even canola oil?
Even canola oil. What they do is they tend to, the ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, and in primitive diets and our diets, runs around 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. In America, the average is 20-to-1, 30-to-1, even 50-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. That imbalance causes everything from heart disease to cancer. And the problem is those vegetable oils, those polyunsaturated oils that you told were healthy, are almost exclusively omega-6. And they basically, never used omega-3s. They're now becoming sort of the hot buzzword in nutrition. Probably you and all the viewers are starting to hear.
I believe in omega-3s because I don't like to eat fish that much. So I get them through the supplements.
You get them through the supplements. The trick is, what you probably want to do is stay away from any oil that you can buy in the supermarket that comes in a clear bottle and lasts for 100 years. Basically, it's going to be high in omega-6. It's been actually treated to a point where it reacts in the body differently.
Right.
The oils you look for are like olive oil, monosaturated fat, fish oil, flax oil. For cooking, you want oils that stand up to high heat. And because again, oils, when they're heated, change their character, they become very unhealthy. So you look for things. Avocado oil is a good oil to cook with.
Where do you get avocado? In a health food store?
In health food stores.
Not in a regular grocery store.
See, and here's the thing, going back to where we started this part of the conversation. If you went to your supermarket and said, I won't buy this, if you don't have avocado oil, if you don't have...
Of course, they'll start stocking avocado oil.
Yeah, their agenda is to sell you what you want.
Right. And the marketers are out there doing all their research of what the buying patterns are of the consumers, and so they know that everybody buys, safflower oil or canola oil or vegetable oil. Vegetable oil being the number one cheap oil to cook with, and there you go. I mean, it's just like a vicious cycle, isn't it?
It is.
And somebody has to break that cycle. And you're out there trying to do that, and I hope you have a very good support system. I think you do. I mean, you've been writing a book, or if you've written a book, you're producing top quality nutritional supplements.
Right.
And you've been doing this for all your life, correct?
For about 40 years now.
Well, that's a significant amount of time now, isn't it?
It is.
So you're out there. I mean, you're the advocate. You're the advocate for people like me.
Yeah, we're trying to basically, at the Baseline of Health Foundation, keep people informed. You can download the free book. You can get the newsletter, which will keep you informed, at jonbarron.org.
And that's JONBARRON.org.
Or if they mistype it at JOHN, they'll still get there.
Oh, good. You did your search word. Good. That's good. This is a fascinating conversation and certainly timely in light of the fact that our health care system just is broke. And it's our fault. It's not their fault.
That's right.
And I think that is kind of like an aha that people have to realize in seeing the show, that we have to empower ourselves, again, I'm reiterating, as humans, to learn to care for our bodies as though they are temples. How's that? I mean, we care for our cars and our automobiles, and we service them, but we're not doing the same thing to our bodies, okay? And with that said, I want to thank you for coming to this portion of the
Thank you so much.
show. It's been a pleasure. Jon Barron, jonbarron.org, JONBARRON.org. I want to thank you for being on our show, Jon.
It's a pleasure.
Until next time, I'm Andrea Cinque, Eye on San Francisco.
Eye